Well, that was a bit of a carry on, guys. Oh, I got the keys out, given them to Chris. He put them in the ignition, snapped the key off in the ignition. He's like, Rob, if you give me the right keys. I said, yeah, we've only got one set of full keys. But we didn't. We had a set of keys that done the petrol cap. So, of course, that one just snapped. But he managed to get his fingers on the end of it and pull it out. So, welcome back to the channel and a new video. Guys, I actually did record a little bit of this video and I was undecided exactly where I was going to put it in the video, so I am going to include that straight away. And it was actually removing some bits, but I was able to get them off last week for powder coat, and then we planned on starting the car, so I'll include that little bit now. But the plan is, obviously, we've got all that lovely new stuff from Burton Power, so we need to crack on and start getting this car back to its former glory. And I really can't wait, because I'm excited about driving this one. Let's get straight on with it. It's a bit hard. I've been trying to think of how to integrate this bit, but basically we're going to be doing a video on this car in a few days, and we're going to be doing the engine. You've probably already watched all of this, but I'm saying it because I don't know whereabouts I'm going to slip this bit in. Once we do it, we don't want to put this rocker box cover back on. So I'm actually going to take that off now and get it down the powder coaters. And just before we do crack on, there it is back from the powder coaters. The strut brace, because there is those little holes in the top of the turrets where it's been bolted in, we decided that we are going to put it back on, but we didn't want it in that bright yellow. So we've actually had it done matte black. So that can go on there and it won't stick out like it did before. It should look quite nice. And also we're going to be, of course, replacing these. They originally was chrome, but they should be pretty much same colour as that rocker box. I did tell him don't worry about the cap, because we're going to just buy a brand new one. They sell yellow ones on eBay and various other sites, and you can see it was yellow, but he's ended up doing it anyway. So just for the meantime, that'll be fine. Let's crack straight on with the car. I know you couldn't see a great deal there. I was just removing a few little bits and getting everything out of the way. So I removed the distributor, got that off. Because the cam comes out this way, I don't think there's quite enough room there. So I've started undoing the coil, gonna get that removed out of there as well. Well, that was quite easy. I loosened them off. We have got enough room there now to actually pull that out. Sorry, I'm a little bit close. So I've just got it up on the ramp. Gonna get it up, get this wheel off and take the rest of the covers off on the bottom side. So easy to work on these cars, guys. I really do miss it. Really do miss it. I couldn't get to the bottom pulley. The bottom pulley bolt here is actually right up there so that you couldn't get to it. So we ended up just removing, sorry, I'm moving you around on a tripod here. Just end up removing the engine mount. It has one bolt through the side, one at the top, and there was 3 little bolts holding it on. So I removed that, put the stand underneath it, and that allowed us to drop the engine down quite low. I'm doing everything on the stand today. Just saves me keep pulling it out. Managed to drop the engine down. You can see it's quite far down now. So I've just sprayed that bottom pulley up, and it's actually quite late in the day. So we're going to let that soak in overnight. If it don't just fall off in the morning, we get a little 3-legged puller on it, 2-legged puller, and pull it off. But it all seems to be going quite nicely, and like I say, I miss working on things like this. The simplicity of it is brilliant. It's actually the next morning, guys, and we've had a plastic recycling skip turn up. Well, the skip's actually metal, but you put the plastic recycling in it. So Chris is running round, just stripping everything out, getting tidied up out in the yard, and I'm going to continue on in here. I've put my torch down. So I did just do a little bit there off camera. As you can see, remove that bottom pulley. It did take 2 of us to get that off. with the pulling clamp and just eyeing it up, keeping an eye on it as we was getting it off. On the top here, I'm going to try and show you the timing marks on these CVH. So you can see that little pin there, and if you look just above it, there's actually a hole. If we get a bit closer, you'll see that that is actually perfectly spot on. So I'm going to start by removing the camshaft sprocket. Then we'll stick all of the followers and rockers on a piece of cardboard. The followers we're not too worried about because we're replacing them. But all of the rockers, I'd like to try and keep those in order that they are. So, of course, we'll stick them all on a piece of cardboard. Again, guys, I'll try and get the camera as close as I can, but not a great deal to see. I'm going to be undoing these 8 bolts here and this 19 on the end, and then hopefully sliding that cam out. There shouldn't be any resistance, apart from, obviously, the seal that's in the end of the cam here. So let's crack straight on and get it done. But first of all, let's release that cam belt and get that off. And then we'll slide the cam out, the pulley. Sorry, we're going to remove the pulley and slide the cam out, that end. I've got quite a lot of stuff out of the way now. So I'm just thinking between here and there, we should have enough gap. I'm sure I said that last night. Guys, quite a lot of you are probably wondering why there's a rubber mat there. Now, when we got the car, it had bonnet razors on it, didn't it? And if you look here, that's actually burnt. Last week, I shut the bonnet. The battery's too big, and it actually earthed out on that bonnet. Don't worry, it didn't cause any damage. It does still run and everything's working, but we need to swap that battery out because that's miles too big. Straightforward, guys, just like I said. There was a little locking plate in the end here that I forgot to mention. Hopefully you can see me there, and I will show you that little locking plate, and it does look like it's sided as well. See it there? It looks, yeah, it is slightly smaller this side, and it's got a different cut in it. So you remove them 8 mils, and literally I'm about to, I just need Chris to push it out the seal. There she comes. Put that screwdriver down. You have to sort of take the weight of it in the middle because it's falling down.
Jiggly joggly.
And there we go. Camshaft out. We're going to have a little inspection on this anyway, aren't we, to see how worn it is. Actually looks quite good, doesn't it? We're cut there, guys. Me and Chris are going to have a look at this.
Doesn't look like
guys, there really wasn't a great deal of wear on that cam. We've got it here on the bin. We inspected it, but it probably is the original. One thing I did just notice when I was pulling the oil seal out the end there, it was actually wasn't in there straight, which it wasn't leaking any oil by any means, but it still wasn't seated in there properly. And if you can see in there where I've cleaned it out, you can see where the cam's actually been rubbing on it in the wrong part. It's not been completely central. It was slightly twisted. I'm trying to be careful when I'm using my words there, because I was going to say something else, but I haven't actually got one of them seals. I did order one last night before we went home, and it's going to be in at 10 o'clock. So I'll whip down and get that, and we can start the process of putting it all back together again. Even the cam belt and tensioner, I did show them a little bit on the time lapse, but I'm not sure that you would have seen it too good because it's pretty quick. But where are they? Here they are. So the cam belt, you can see it's quite perished this side, but on the inside there's actually nothing wrong with it. It was all right. And then looking at the tensioner, it's not long had one, guys, is it? That's not very old at all, and it sounds lovely. But again, we've got the nice new one, so we get all that fitted. I'm just running off to get that seal, and Chris is out here filling this up. It's only arrived yesterday. I can't believe how much you've got in there already. We've repaired that many vehicles. And the Hoover that we blew up, but we've got a new one now.
It's mainly car parts.
It is mainly car parts, so there ain't a lot of room left in that. It's got to be level load, hasn't it? So we're going to get this done, and we're also going to do a clear out on the scrap as well, won't we? Get rid of all that. Have a right.
Got enough to of scrappy, to be fair.
Yeah, we probably have, haven't we? Maybe we'll go down that path. Let's go and get this seal. The delicate process starts now, guys. So that new seal is in there. Nice, all nice and new, clean. No little nicks or anything in it. Like I say, that one was in good condition, apart from that little bit of damage on the inside there. I have undone the cam and the rockers, and I have soaked them in oil. It does say in the instructions, it's best to leave them as the absolute last job to put in, and it does say soak them. So we're soaking them in the actual proper oil for the car. I know it looks quite dark, but believe it or not, it's new out the bottle. So I've got the cam lube here with it as well. So I'm going to cover all the lobes and then start the process of putting the cam back in. It's reasonably easy to do, but really nice knowing that's going in and we're going to have no issues with it at all. Like I say, we have got the old one there. We've checked through it. It has got minimal wear on it, but you could hear that when I revved it up. It was quite cammy. Also, the strut brace is back, and that's nice, matte black. I think now that's, you're not even going to really know that that's on there. It's a tasteful modification rather than a untasteful one, because it was bright yellow, wasn't it? Right, I'm going to crack on and start piecing it all back together. Camshaft, guys, come with the, I've just thrown it in the bin actually, the proper cam lube. I've covered it, rolled it around quite a few times. I'm quite happy with how covered that is now. Guys, again, just before I do fit this, huge shout out again to Burton Power, who hooked us up with this build with all these parts. And I've said in the last video, Burton Power are not someone that's just come on board. They're someone that me and Chris have been using for years for all the Ford parts. So check them out if you need anything for an old school Ford. Links in the description. And the cam kit, all the codes are here for it if anyone does need that. Let's crack on and actually get this fitted back in. That's the new camshaft, all fitted, perfect. And you would have seen, I went in there and pulled the water pump off. I have just cleaned the face of it up here with a blade, but I'll be going in there in a minute, giving that, just letting it dry off a little bit, and I'll give that a proper good deep clean. That's really important. And also get rid of the water residue that's in there, because we don't want any of that seating between the new pump and the gasket. Otherwise you're just asking for trouble, and it's gonna end up leaking. And it's quite a tough job. You've got to take all the cam belt back apart to obviously get to that water pump. So that's what we want to do. What I did notice on the water pump was, and I think this is due to where it's just been sat for so long, it is actually it's going quite rusty in there. And you would have seen it before in a lot of cars, old cars, you do get like rusty water coming through. Now, I actually thought that this was reasonably new, but looking at it now, compared to the original colour of the new one, it's actually just been painted. It's not actually a new pump, and you can see by the neck of it there, it's not new. This has actually been covered in silver paint, I think. So, there's the nice new one, and of course, new gasket. If I turn that over, you can see, again, slight variation in that. This new one doesn't have this little bit down here, but I'm looking on the block, it just goes up here where that mark is. It's not actually serving any purpose, so that's probably, most likely, this one's improved. It just doesn't need that, so it's not on there. But yeah, we'll get that all dried out and get that fitted. Like I said, the lifters are going to go in last, but the cam's all in. I've locked it all in, and it all turns nice and freely. So we'll just continue on getting all of this built up, and then we can concentrate on getting all that back together. I did whip down, of course you know, picked up the new seal, and also picked up a rocker box gasket. I'm not sure where I've put it, but we got a nice new rocker box gasket under there. because I forgot to order it, that's all. And I ordered 2 of these seals for some reason. So yeah, let's continue. Again guys, my apologies if you can't see much. So new water pump, new gasket, all fitted, got the pipe back on there. When I did drain it down, I did catch most of it, and I managed to clean up before Chris come back in, so all good there. New water pump, new idler, new cam belt, all sitting on there. I do need to tension it up and then start putting it back together, but genuinely it's so, I know you guys will appreciate it, it's so hard to show, but I had to take the woodruff key out of the old cam, out of there, and stick it in the new one. I've got it all lined up, back on those original marks, as you can see. Well, that one's not, it's a tooth out. So, yeah, like I said, it's not tight yet anyway. I'm just getting it 100% right, and then we'll tighten that up and just continue on. I am showing as much as I can, but it is quite difficult. Hopefully you can see me do a bit more of up here, but down here it is very, very difficult to do. Let's continue on. Getting quite exciting now. That's cam belt all on there, all tensioned up. And as you can see, that timing mark is spot on, and the bottom one's spot on as well. I've put the distributor back in, and I'm now ready to put all the followers and the rockers back in. I did put them in this cardboard box earlier. You can see I writ on there, inlet and exhaust. I'll put them in order. I'm not sure it makes any difference what order they go back, but regardless, we're going to do it anyway. Let's get them out and start putting them back in. That's all of that back together, and they're all torqued up. I've got the rocker box cover down here on the floor. That needs to go on before the cam belt cover goes back on there. And the actual gasket, sorry I moved away there guys, the actual gasket for the rocker box cover was come with all the little tiny metal pins. You know what I was pointing out on the last one, it had a couple missing. Chris just kindly pushed all the little pins in the gasket, saved me doing it. So we're just going to continue on, get that rocker box cover on, and then get the cam belt cover on, and go right through, start putting all the bits and pieces back together on it. Not really many bits left over now, but hopefully should get it all back together in the next hour or so. So I actually want to avoid any more time lapse in the video, and I don't want to I want to show as much as I can, but like I was just doing these up on time lapse, doing up these Jubilee clips, just going around screwing these screws back in, and guys, I know you can't see any of it, so I'm actually going to do a few little bits off camera, and then we'll have a good look at it once it's completely back together, like the top half of it here. Do seem to be moving on quite well with it, and we have got a couple of new bits that have arrived, what we'd like to get fitted on there as well, and I think you're all going to agree they're definitely going to be an improvement. How different does that look, guys? Drop it in the comment section. Let me know what you think. Just off the bat there, can you even see that that strut brace has been refitted to it? It just completely takes the eye off it. Chris found me some nice black actual number plate screw caps just to put over those silver bolts for now. We are going to change them to black bolts, but we didn't have any here. So put them over and it's transformed it. Chrome, gone. Chrome's still there. Need to get one of these or have that one powder coated. Guys, that's the brake. You'll all be pleased to know that I've pulled these off. Everyone kept mentioning these in the last video. They're actually quite heavy. I thought they was plastic, but you can hear they're actually metal. I've pulled them off those wings. They're going to need cleaning up. Chris, what you got in the box? We've had a delivery from eBay. We have been ordering bits in the background.
We're not need them.
No, we're not going to put them on. We got orange indicators, genuine header tank, and also you found a airbox and bought it. That's not arrived yet. No, so going to fit that nice standard header tank. It ain't really underneath the bonnet. It's, yeah, that hose wants changing because it has got that blank in it for the dump valve. There is actually a dump valve in here still connected. You could quite easily put that back in, but we're not interested in making air noises. So quite really getting there with all the little bits and pieces we need. I'm going to fit this header tank and then I think we're pretty much finished under the bonnet. We're going to be ready to fire it up. Old oil filter, and the new one come out of that box. I did drop a little bit of oil on the floor. I'll have to clean up in a minute. As you can see, guys, it's that new genuine Ford oil filter from Burton Power. So we got to get it down, get the new oil in it, water in it, and we're ready to flick the key. It is that moment of truth, guys. It's probably going to be quite rattly, purely down to the fact that the top end has had no oil in it and it's a new cam, followers, etc. You're not getting anything, Chris? Yeah, is the immobiliser turned off? It has, but not. Yeah, crank it. We're gonna have to cut the jump pack on it. It's a bit low. I'll cut there, guys, and then pick straight back up. Take two. We've got the jump pack on there now. Hopefully that gives it enough. Immobiliser. Oh, long day. Battery pack's not good enough, is it? We'll have to charge it a little bit. A little bit messy. Very quiet, but it's missing. It's only running on 3. I'll have to go through, check all the leads. Yeah, very quiet now. Start it again, Chris. Yeah, we'll have to check through. There's a lead or something off there somewhere. I'll have a check through, guys, and cut it. So, guys, I was getting a little bit worried there. You see, I've been cracking on doing it. You can hear it's purring. Now it's perfect. Chris just said, Rob, stop worrying. It's probably short of oil. Once it all gets going, it'll be fine. So we pulled the plugs off one at a time off camera. And as soon as I pulled off the number 1 lead, you could hear it was no different at all. So, of course, Burton Power sent us out a full service kit. I haven't put the plugs in yet. Chris said, just chuck one in, number 1, that's your issue, and try it. And sure enough, he opened the plugs up on the bench there, put number 1 in it, gapped it up, and I'll just go around the back, Chris, can you give that a little rev? Sounds beautiful. That's not coming now. That sounds beautiful. Yeah, actually, I can try and show the exhaust blow while we're here. Is it temperature gauge moved a little bit? Don't want you to rev it up if it hasn't. Let me just fill the header tank. Yeah, the water's quite warm. So if you give it a little rev, I should be able to see it. Yeah, you can't really see. You can slightly hear it. That sounds beautiful. Right, let's get these other plugs fitted. Right, guys, I know some of you are going to say it in the comment section, but I can't say it because it's rude. But yeah, it was going a little bit. And I didn't quite know what was going on there. After doing all that work, he's a downer when you flick the key. I expected it to be quite tappy. I wasn't expecting it to misfire. Thank God it was just a spark plug. But moving along with it nicely. And honestly, can you tell the difference? Now that strut brace is black. It looks like it belongs there to me. I'm sure some of you are still not going to like it, but the header tank's in there and it's just looks a bit more unmolested under there. So it is actually 4 o'clock and you're going to be watching this at 5. So I've got to cut it short today. I've got some serious editing to do to get it out for you guys. Don't forget, hit that thumbs up if you enjoy it. We really, really do appreciate it. Like, subscribe, share. Everything's in the links are in the description down below, and we'll see you next week in the next one. Have a lovely weekend, everyone.